I'm going to do the worst thing that you can possibly do on the internet, and that is to argue with Stan Lee, especially on Christmas. Like what type of person am I for doing that? But the reality is that he thinks something, I think something else, and I want to articulate why I believe that I'm right and he is wrong. So if you guys can manage to try not to strangle me through the monitor, I think I can make a persuasive argument. But first, let's see what Stan Lee thinks regarding power scaling.
I'm always asked, who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight if Galactus fought the Hulk? Or if Thor fought Iron Man? And there's one answer to all of that. It's so simple. Anyone should know this. The person who'd win in a fight is the person that the scriptwriter wants to win. If I'm writing a story about the Thing from the Fantastic Four, and he gets into a big fight with Spider-Man, and millions of people out there say, who would win? Well, it depends on who I want to win if I'm writing the script. If I want Spider-Man to win, he'll win. If I want the Thing to win, he'll win. These are fictitious characters. The writer can do whatever he wants with them. So stop asking those bonehead questions, because I've had it with that.
So obviously he's doing a bit. It's a comedic thing, but I've seen many people showing me this as I shouldn't take it as a comedy, but instead I should take it as the word of God, like gospel. And I disagree with it for several reasons. Like, first of all, you shouldn't discourage people from discussing who would win. Because people discussing this and being involved into having these conversations is what drives the product. It's what gets the buzz going. Right? Like, I remember when I was at school and I would hear like two of my classmates talk about these Mortal Kombat characters, like who would win. It's like, well, who are these characters? Like, what are their abilities? And if they're interesting enough, then you start looking into it. That's free advertisement, basically, right? So as fans of a certain IP, if you actually like the IP, you should actually encourage people to have these conversations. Because this is why I even brought up this video. Like, I had several people going, like, oh, no, look what Stan Lee said. You know, it's pointless to have these conversations, V. What are you thinking? The second one, you know, like, it's obvious, unless you're a woke-tard, like, unless you're a leftist on Twitter, and the type of person that has, like, drool coming out of their mouth, it is obvious that the characters are fictional, right? Like, everyone knows that the writer can obviously do whatever they want with them. But the question isn't, like, who would win, but usually people ask how they would win, right? When you look at Superman and Batman, for instance, like Batman allegedly is just like a regular human in peak condition, while Superman is like this demigod, right? Now, obviously, Superman would beat Batman, but what's interesting is like when you have a writer that wants to make Batman beat Superman, like how would he do it? Like that is the interesting part, and I think like you need to have a creative writer, in this case like Stan Lee, to be able to pull something like that off. And you can do it in a very boring way. It's like, oh, well, Batman has access to kryptonite, and oh, well, look, Superman is just winning Batman. Or you can find out, like, some way that the script would make it so that when Batman does defeat Superman, it actually feels as if it's good writing and it makes sense. So you know, I don't think that Stan Lee is right in when he says, like, well, it's up to the scriptwriter. I mean, he is right if the scriptwriter can just make a shitty story. But in order to make someone like Butcher from The Boys defeat Homelander, you need to have a very creative writer. Like, not everyone can pull it off. I don't think I can pull it off. Right? Like, to come up with the story, to come up with the in-universe explanation that follows the lore and maintains immersion, in which a person without superpowers like Butcher manages to defeat a demigod like Homelander, it takes a very skilled writer to pull it off. And I think, like, this is why people are even talking about these things. It's because like they enjoy immersing themselves in the creativity of others. Like when you're asking the question, who would win between, I don't know, the Hulk and Spider-Man, someone would enjoy to hear an opinion on why Spider-Man would win, but more importantly, how. Like, how would Spider-Man beat the Hulk? Like, knowing the Hulk's abilities. That's the conversation that goes in these fandoms. Because obviously, yeah, like if the writer wants a female character, like just a new Chiquita, like Rey from Star Wars, to beat everyone. Like, if the writer wants Rey from Star Wars to beat Emperor Palpatine, and they want Rey from Star Wars to be the strongest Jedi, you can write that, because, yeah, you know, they're fictional characters, but it's going to be a shitty story that no one remembers, no one cares about, and no one even takes it seriously. Right? Because there is no explanation, like, why exactly is she able to do these feats? So if you were to, like, have a Mary Sue in the Marvel Universe, and she allegedly doesn't have any superpowers, but she goes up and she defeats the Hulk, and she beats Galactus, and she beats everyone because the writer wants her to do it. Like you can pull that off, definitely, but it's going to be a bad story, right? The reason that Stan Lee managed to become the legend that he is because when he was writing, it had creative sense. And I think the problem here is that Stan Lee assumes that other writers would be on his level, or that what he is doing isn't spectacular. I think he believes that his writing style is normal, so, like, you know, of course, like, any person in my shoes would have the creativity required to make Spider-Man beat up the Thing from the Fantastic Four. But in reality, like, most people don't. Like if you take a modern woke writer, it would probably be like the Thing beats Spider-Man, but then you have Miles Morales picking up the battle, and he fights the Thing without any training or anything, but he just manages to defeat the Thing because he's Miles Morales, right? Like that's how they would write it. And this would make for a very boring, not interesting story. And this is why I disagree with Stan Lee's take. Like, number one, you shouldn't discourage people from having these conversations. And number two, yes, they're fictional characters, but not everyone can write it at his level. And I genuinely think that he severely underestimated the type of writers that these companies are capable of hiring. And finally, of course, I do believe that this was a bit. Like it wasn't him actually thinking about it and sharing his wisdom to the public. He was just trying to do a 1-minute segment that's hilarious. It makes people laugh, and that's pretty much it. But for some reason, some fans are taking it seriously. Let me know what you guys think, though. And of course, as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.